All right, there's.
Oh, there we go.
All right, we're good.
Hey man, we're gonna work out the kinks. We
That's
we know
it.
this is
That's
the
it.
first time, man.
Yep. We knew it'd be a little rough here to get it started, so it's all good.
But we here. We live.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
There we go. So man, I mean, before we jump in, how was your day? Your trading day today?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, my level's set up nicely. I've traded my plan. I mean, I made some money. That's all you can ask for in trading, honestly. So,
There you
um,
go. And it's a Monday. It's always great to start off the week right. Same thing for me.
start out
Stick to the
green.
plan.
Yeah. You can't beat it.
I started off, but I did start off a little rocky at first though. Because I went long.
Yeah.
I expected to get a bounce up first before we start to drop. So
So I was
went,
pretty patient.
okay.
I looked at the overnight levels and I kind of set those because when I show you my chart here in a second, I'll show you what I was looking at. You want me to
Okay.
share it now?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, let me see here.
So while you pulling that up, I'll just kind of talk for a second to let people know what we're doing, man. We have decided to create this channel where we're going to be talking about the market. We both day trade, S&P, CL, and maybe I should say S&P 500, day trading futures, crude oil, and gold. So we're going to, tell you guys how we did, look at the levels, talk you guys through it. So hopefully, it's informative for you guys. One thing that we definitely got to say is that, future markets are not implicative of what happened in the past. And we are not responsible for you in your
Good
trade,
work.
So just letting you know, this is for information only. We're telling you what we do, but trade at your own risk. Make sure that your reward risk levels are proper. So I wanted to make sure that we definitely said that before we got into it. But I'll kick it over to you now.
All right, let me see here. I'm trying to get this screen up. So, all right, we got it up. Can you see it?
I can see it. Yep.
All right. Wow. All right. Step one done. Now it's into the stuff I know. So this is my 8th year trading. I've been profitable 8 out of 8 years. I'm not profitable every day, but I am profitable over the long term. So I kind of think I know what I'm doing at this point. The market it changes all the time, and things are different here and there. But I think I got a fairly good grasp on it. I use a combination of chart patterns, market profile, and I'll even drill down and use some order flow. If I'm really getting down and dirty into it. So I want to start out here. We'll look at the ES first, a daily chart that's a little bit cleaner. So that way we can kind of start and see what we're looking at here. So I just kind of marked this up a little bit before we got on here. So we have a clear pattern that's happening here. We have a triple top. I mean, it's clear as day. You can see it 1, 2, 3 spots there. And now at the bottom of that consolidation zone, we have this little level here. So for me, for a longer term, if you're a longer term trader and you're looking, weeks, probably going to be your 2 key levels that you're going to be watching here for the next, I don't know, at least a couple weeks here. So, the 6152, that was your old high when we had the gap up, and then we broke that once, broke it twice, but we weren't able to keep it. So that's something that I'm keeping an eye on. There's another little area of interest down here at 59.34 that's catching my eyes. I'm looking here. That's probably another short. This is a little bit more of a risky area just because, we're still into this larger consolidation area here. So, the breakdown to 58.09, that would be the real trigger that something's going haywire in the market. And, then you should probably get out for at least a little bit, at least go cash for a while, maybe if you don't short it. But if we break that level there, things are probably hitting the fan a little bit. So we got to be ready for that. As you can see, we're in a huge uptrend. The ES, yeah, enormous, right? Goes back years if we keep going back. So, I mean, it's a bull market. I mean, it's clear as day. It's a bull market. So if you're going short, you're fighting the trend. That's not usually the greatest idea. But if you break one of these key levels, that's where you can make at least a little bit of money off it. Now, you always got to keep in mind, with the ES and the S&P 500, the rigged to go up, essentially. I mean, you got your top 500 companies in the United States are all in there. They interchange those companies. So, you know, if a company's doing crappy, they're not in the top 500 anymore, they'll pluck those things out of there and they'll put a new one in there. So it's literally rigged to go up. So you always got to keep that in mind whenever you're playing around with the S&P 500 or the ES. The other thing you got to keep in mind, people's 401ks, they're going right into this sucker. So every single time that you're making that contribution, you know, you're actually contributing money into the ES, into the S&P 500. So there's a lot of tailwinds there to be bullish on the ES. So I'm not saying to go short. You know, we definitely got a clear topping pattern that's starting to happen here. So it's something to certainly keep an eye on going forward. So, do you have any questions on the daily, Adrian, at all?
No. So it's funny that you talked about the longs and shorts and not the fight. Last year, I was just looking at my statistics. I only went short 15% of the time for the entire year.
Wow.
I literally like I literally took 85% of my trades were long last year. So yeah.
So you're a trader.
It's getting to the point where I'm like, do I even want to take shorts? But
fair enough.
I think that it is opening up.
And honestly, some people see the market better that way. And like if you're on TradingView at all, this is something interesting. If you're on TradingView, you can actually do an inverted scale and flip it around. So if you see it better, you know, from a long perspective, sometimes that can help you get short. So now it looks like, so as a long trader, that could help you out a little bit. Personally, I mean, I love the shorts. The shorts are usually faster, but I'm a shorter term trader too, as you guys will probably find out as we're talking. I use a 1 minute chart where Adrian uses a 30. So he's looking at more like 1 to 2 trades a day, where I'm jumping in and out all day long. So there's various things that could happen for me. So I balanced it out pretty good as far as long and short. I probably am a little bit more long than short overall, for obvious reasons. If the market, you know, if I'm doing things right, that's what I should be, I suppose. So let's take a look. I want to go drill down just a wee little bit, and we'll go to the 120-minute chart, which is the 2 hour. And so this is going to get a little bit more busy here. I didn't want to show this one right away, but we'll look at this here. So these are like some of the active levels that I'm trading off of currently. So you can see here I have the overnight high marked here in blue, these like teal blues. Those are my overnight levels. So we have our high and our this morning. Those are the 2 levels that I set for myself. And so those were my lines in the sand. So when I saw those suckers getting broke, you know, that's when I wanted to jump in and jump in and get going with this. If I put up, I'm going to bring another chart.
I know that typically
chart and show you exactly.
I know typically when you're setting up for the day, you're looking for a story. And so is that kind of how you set up every day? Is
Absolutely.
it more of I'm looking for the breaks of these areas and then that's when I become a player?
Sure. Yeah. So I want a narrative behind any of the trades that I'm taking. So, I mean, this is clear what was happening here. I mean, look at this 1, 2, 3, 4 big ass red candles that are coming down. I mean, clear as day what's going on right there. You know, we're obviously getting a little bit bearish. So what I was looking for when I came in, I wanted to see that little bounce because you know some bulls are going to jump in at some point. You know, there's bargains, so they're going to start buying that stuff early. I was looking for that move. We got that overnight, which was perfect to come in. I love to see that. And then we had these 2 great tails on this 120-minute. Like, look at this on this green bar here. Got a real nice tail there. And then right here, we got a real nice tail there. So what that indicates is that there's been battles happening there. You know, somebody's got really long and somebody's got really short, and somebody's going to lose eventually. And I want to be there. So I'm going to drag another chart over. Hopefully this works for us. So this is my trigger chart. And so this is a 1 minute. And so this is at about 9:38. So this is the first penetration of that overnight level. I didn't trade that. I never trade the first penetration through a level. I always wait for the second or third. So this one, though, I want to keep 5 minutes in between. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got our 5. I mean, this literally could not set up any more perfect for what I do. and then bam, we started the break again. So then what happens? Entries right here at the break of the level. Stop is real simple. It's right above the level. I mean, not too hard. And then from there, I'm usually taking 1.5 to 2 on my risk reward ratio. And I got this little program here that helps me figure that out, like on the fly. Watch, I'll show you here. It'll come up. It's set up down here, but so there would be my stop. That would be my entry. And then when I'm setting it, I'm really looking at this number here on the blue line, and I want that to be around like 1.5-ish. And so there, so you go. That was, I mean, it doesn't get any easier than that, honestly. It went right to it. I didn't take hardly any heat at all. That's a nice, relaxing, good trade. That's the kind of trades that we like.
Yes.
It gets a little more interesting as the day
simply drops, bounces off. That's I love those trades.
Yeah, exactly.
Life's easy.
Yep. Yes, exactly. So if we go to my next level here, things got a little bit more interesting. I didn't take this.
Okay.
Because this is the first penetration. I actually thought we'd get a little bit more of a bounce there. I probably could have counted this as a little bit of a bounce. Sometimes I'll play around. If it goes over halfway in the zone, I'll play around and I'll take a short there. But I didn't do it on this instance. I kind of let this one go. And I let the next one go as well. I mean, you don't get them all. But I did catch it once more, though, as we came down here. So we came down, we broke, had more than 5 candles in between. Boom, we broke again, and then bam, we got another hitter. So that's kind of how I played today. As far as the ES goes, and we'll go back to my other chart, and you can see I had these levels all. Whoops.
So
all those levels were identified beforehand.
I actually took that short. I took that short, and then it bounced to the bottom. When it held, I took that long, and that long was pretty sweet. I think my last scale was about 10 points on that one. So
nice. It worked. So I didn't get long at all today. I was all short. So you.
But I'm a long trader.
The opposite side of me. That's true. That's true, right?
So
I guess we
already
talked about that a little bit earlier. So yeah, I mean that works out for your strategy. Yeah, it's pretty easy. It looks like we're melting a little bit here to finish the day, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if we can take out this low or not, but we're definitely coming down to it. We've eaten into this tail pretty nicely now at this point. So this level here is definitely going to be something of interest for us tomorrow. If it holds now, I don't know. It could break as we talk here, but as long as that holds, I think that's going to be a pretty key level for us right there. We do have this other one that's sitting just below, back to another tail from early February. It looks like February 4th. So there is another little area of interest there. So you got to be a little bit cautious. Like if you notice here, I put this line here in yellow. It was almost the same situation where we had a nice little tail and then another low. And so sometimes I won't trade that. We're about to hit it right now. It looks like. So sometimes I won't trade those if those 4 extra points aren't going to make any difference. I mean, usually those washout sell days, you're going to get, I don't know, 60 points on the move or something like that, at least. Sometimes 100 points on the move. So you can be patient there. You can let those ones slip. I'd rather be right and cautious than be a little bit more aggressive than be wrong. I don't want to lose money. So you want to take a look at another product, or you want to talk about ES a little bit more?
Let's crude oil had some decent movement. Let's talk about that one a little bit.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Let me flip over. Let's go to the daily first. So you're going to notice a big difference between this daily and our ES daily. If I scroll out. So we are clearly not in any type of trend for oil. Look at this thing. It's just chopping around, and it's been chopping around since last year. So we've been
Yes.
sitting in a year of consolidation on this thing. So I don't look for huge moves, until we would break like one of these really key daily levels. But I'll tell you what, when these things do break, we're going to get some massive moves in this thing. So it's going to be fun eventually. We got a lot of build up here that's happened with the back here. Whoops, my chart to work right. The 6243, that looks to be a pretty key one. I have one more little tail down there, it's below it. We'll say 6214. So if that falls, this whole consolidation, it almost looks like a big bull flag, really, if you're really staring at it from this angle. But if that breaks down, our bull flag's breaking down. So, it's a decent short, but you got to remember it's a commodity. It's always going to be worth some money somewhere. I mean, other than COVID, that one freaky day when it went to like negative $33,
Yeah.
which is pretty interesting. But but you don't get that, like, literally. I mean, I don't think anybody's really ever seen much like that. They were actually paying people to take the oil, which is insane.
I remember, man.
So
I was taking like freaking 2 points like it was candy. At that point in time, man, you could ride the wave for like 2-3 points.
Good
it
time.
was beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah, you get those nice big moves. You get that good volatility going on, man. That's beautiful trading there. But where we're at right now is not beautiful trading in oil. So you got to be cautious. Take your quick hitters, your base hits, man. That's what you're looking for in oil right now. And when we look at gold, we'll actually see something that's probably more the opposite of that, since we've been breaking out on gold. But we'll get to that in a second. So as far as the daily levels go, we look at these two for me are probably the keys of seeing something big happening in the oil market. If we get over this 80, let's say 80, 77-ish, I'm getting super interested. I'm thinking that something's probably popping. Some folks would probably look at the 73, 78 level here. That would be a little bit more aggressive. For day traders, we could get some quick hitters out of that, no doubt about it. And the 75, 25 level is another good one that is something that we could look at as well. So just some things to keep in mind. But again, inside this 80, 77 and 62, 14, I'm considering consolidation zone. And so I want to be quick with my moves, as long as we think of a narrative every day. So my set mindset narrative when I'm coming in on oil is we're in a consolidation. Be aware of that. Don't get greedy. That's really what I'm thinking on oil every single day. So we came in today. Once again, I set my overnight levels. You can see them in the teal here. We did get a penetration of our 68. Did get a little bit of a drift up, and this trade actually kind of ticked me off. I'm not gonna lie. I went one. It doesn't always work out for you. That was those are rough ones to deal with mentally, but that's just part of the game, man. Sometimes they don't all work out for you. So one tick though.
Yeah,
but it is what it
crazy.
is.
I actually took the trade this morning, and but I didn't hold it. So because it was just moving so slow. But I ended up taking 15 ticks, which is a solid trade.
Hey,
but
it's making money,
right. But I think after I sold it, it then jumped up because I was looking for that 70, 80 range, 80 area.
Yep.
And then eventually it popped up, and you're like, well, all right, okay. But a winner is a winner. And like you said, I'm kind of the same feeling when
absolutely.
It comes to oil. Base hits. I'm not trying to. If it happened to pop,
yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. I mean, I took a scratch on that trade because of that. You know what I mean? I moved the level up because I knew there's a chance it could come back. We're in a consolidation. Bulls and bears, they're tugging at each other in those areas. So anytime they could sell off, and you can see with these candles, wow, they look. We have these big tails on top. We had the doji here, actually almost back-to-back dojis, which is going to make this second candle here pretty interesting for tomorrow. We're probably going to be looking at like the bottom of that candle at 70.55 is something that's going to be interesting. That'll probably be a nice, interesting overnight level, to be honest with you. We've been getting a lot of decent moves in oil overnight here recently. So That's something that we could look at. And then this level here, I'm going to take this purple out. So what my purples are when a zone breaks and I'm looking for it to get retested. And so you can see that actually happened here. It went right to it, and then we backed off a little bit. And so now we penetrated that a little bit. And so now, and then so for tomorrow or tonight, whenever it happens, whenever that breaks, that's what I'll be looking at. So I'll show you just real quick. I'm going to bring my oil chart down. And see, I usually color code them the same way on both my charts, my trigger chart and my actual, longer term chart. So you can see I had that purple here where we were going to re-enter the zone, and we did. We re-entered the zone. So I'm going to delete that now. And we're going to look at.
Yeah, we kind of staying tough.
Yep. And so what I'm looking for on these 1 minutes, you can see these consolidations where we're getting a lot of overlapping candles happening. I mean, I guess I've been doing this so long, I can pick them out super easily. But see how these are all overlapping. We get a little break from the overlap, but we come right back in, right? And so I consider that all still the same zone. And so that's how I'm setting this stuff up. And then I'll turn this one green because I want to go long if we break it. And then once again, it'll be just like the ES I showed you earlier. We'll put my long trade here. It'll be something like this. With my entry, I usually go like 1 or 2 ticks outside, usually 2. And then I'll put my stop just below. And then we'll look for like 71. That's a great area. I don't like to be like a 26 or somewhere around like a quarter. They usually get funky on oil around there, but this is a nice spot. We're right below 20. I would say this is a very high probability trade, honestly. If this breaks out from here and starts to move up, I really do like that trade, and I'll probably take it tonight if it happens. So that'll be the first thing that I'm looking for on oil since we're in that zone now. I'll look for the first break. I'll let that one go, and then as long as there's at least 5 candles in between, that's when we'll set the entry and we'll go for it then at that point.
Okay.
So let's go back. And so my other area interest that I was looking at is the 70-55 area. So let's turn this guy red. We'll take the alert off for now because I don't feel like being woke up. Sometimes I'll leave that on overnight though, and I will wake myself up. It just depends.
Oh, wow. No.
Depends how good.
I can't do it. I have to sit there and watch my which is why I don't really trade overnight.
The same deal. We'll bring my other chart back.
I gotta watch.
What's that?
I gotta watch, man. That's why it's hard for me to trade overnight. I can't just sit there and let it go. I gotta watch it. So, and sometimes doing trades for like 2 hours.
I got confidence in the zones at this point.
Oh well,
dude, that's stressful, man. But for me, overnight needs to be like relaxing. You know what I mean? So I just set them and forget them. We'll see.
Gotcha.
So this would be our next area of interest. And so we'll turn this guy red. We didn't get much in oil today, but so if this breaks, it'll be the same thing, same setup, man. I mean, I do the same stuff over and over and over and over again. I think one of the keys to trading. You have to have a consistent process that you can repeat, that you can test. You can prove it to yourself that it does have edge and that it's profitable. That helps your confidence then to be able to take those trades when they come. It helps your mental state because if you have a loser, you're not freaking out because you're thinking more over the long term than just one singular trade. So having a consistent process, huge deal in trading.
So it's funny you say that because that's what I tell people is that having that consistent process, right? Of setting up. I want people to look at it from a sporter, an athlete, right? When you watch Steph Curry, LeBron James, these guys warm up, they warm up the exact same way every single game. They do the same ritual, whatever you want to call it, but they do it the exact same way every single,
absolutely,
pregame. And that's what you want to start to become, like a robot. Like, I mean, I know it sounds like a robot, but that's what you want.
Absolutely. Yep. Thing. I mean, personally, when I've gone through this journey, I've read a lot of like performance management books, and they're usually based on athletes and stuff like that. I mean, I have the same exact routine every morning and every night. This is a little change to my routine though, so it's a little odd, but kind of watching how the sausage is made here though, because I'm doing fresh homework. I haven't looked at these markets at all, since I traded them early. So this is literally what I do every single night, right about this time. Just not live in front of people, so it's a little bit different for me.
There you go. Awesome.
So probably the other levels that I'll be looking at tomorrow. You can make an argument there for 70.19, but I don't love that. I'll probably look at this overnight low here. You had this one from the gap earlier. Actually, it was right on the open. We gapped down on Sunday night. So I could probably make an argument to make that a yellow zone and then make this a red zone, which is probably what I will do now that I'm looking at how it looks, just for more caution. But there's definitely winnable trades there. If somebody is interested, you could probably take that. It is a whole number though, so you're probably going to get a little bit of a bounce there. There's always set orders, it seems, around those levels. So just be aware of that. That it probably won't be. You're probably looking at a little bit rougher of a ride there. But if we get below that 69.80, which is where we opened Sunday night, I think we got a pretty clear path. Let's just double check, at least into the 69.40 area. So you're talking 40 good ticks off of that. So pretty solid. So let's see. We'll go in. Bring back up my oil charts. Sap this guy out. It's a dead zone. It's been played. It actually was overnight. I never even got a chance to mess with that one. As you can see here, see how this opened way down, and then we did a little finagling around and then came back up. So I never really actually played that one. But here's that 70 level here. So if you wanted to play that yellow zone, look at something like this. Oops.
Looks like you're really going to be a player on crude oil.
Going a little slow for me here. Possible, man. You never know. We'll just see how the market sets up. I think tonight there's a good possibility that I'll do something on it, especially if that top level breaks on the double dojis there that we had. You're talking a lot of consolidation that happened in those areas. So I think there's going to be a lot of losers there that I want to jump on the opposite side of. So we actually got a tail all the way down to my next level. So I don't know. Maybe that 69.80 zone isn't something I want to do tonight.
But that's a big gap down there.
That's a huge gap. Now that I'm like looking at this a little bit closer, it almost makes my 70 level feel more viable. You know what I mean? Because we got this little tail. I don't think there was a lot of volume that traded in there. Let's see if we can. Yeah, there wasn't much at all. So not a lot of volume in that. I think we could melt down through there a little bit. You know what? After further inspection on the 1 minute chart, I am going to go ahead and declare this a zone that is playable. So we're going to go ahead and set that. So that 70.01 would be the first zone that I'll be looking at on the way down. Let's go ahead. I'm going to change that then from yellow back to red. And I'm actually going to flip them. I'm going to make this the yellow now. Just so I'm aware of that level, but I'm not super concerned with it because it was penetrated. This chart doesn't show that big tail that you could see on that 1 minute. So it was just an instant thing that happened. You know what I mean? They bought it right back up. So, but we went right down to that 69.33. So I think that's another decent area to hold on to then. Sorry, my computer's doing some funky things. All right, there we go. All right, so oil, we're looking at 70.93 and 70.55. Those are going to be our two key areas of interest. And then from there, we'll look around that 70 area. We'll have some caution when it gets around the 69.80. If we see some buyers coming in hardcore at that point, you can move your stop up. You can move the break even, because you could get a bounce, go back over the 70 and play around a little bit and then come back, sink back through. So you can take it again, a little bit later. You can always get back in, but You know, I'd rather wish that I was in a trade than wish that I was not in a trade. So I usually kind of keep that caution in mind as I'm going through it there. Any questions on oil for tonight?
No, I think that's good.
Okay.
Good key areas. I like those areas.
Yeah. I think we got something for the overnight traders, and we got something probably tomorrow. This will be more in play, I'm guessing. You know, I think these two will probably, one of these two will hit overnight. I'm not sure which one, but one of them will happen. I'm almost positive of that. All right, let's have a look at gold. Let's go back to our daily. This one.
Yeah, gold is going nuts.
So I've been playing around. I'm on the gold is going crazy, right? I mean, we've had this big drive up since October 2023, really. I mean, we're just pushing and pushing. We get a little consolidation zones here and there. I mean, the grand theme is that we're moving up. And I mean, that has a lot to do with inflation, the value of the dollar, things like that. People getting scared. You know, there's a lot of uncertainty right now in the world. So when that happens, gold usually catches some bids and starts moving up. And that's what we've really seen since 2023. So some interesting daily levels on gold. Obviously, we'd be looking at our all-time high here, which hit today. So yeah, about 29.74. Gosh, I hate to even like make a recommendation of a short level, but you know, if you're playing the zones and you're looking, if you're looking at this stuff, you know, 28.80, you know, 28.87. You know, if we start breaking below there with some authority and some real push and volume, that might be something to get interested in, maybe on the short side to take a little bit of this back. But we have a nice consolidation zone right here. You know, you can see this thing. This is a nice consolidation. I wouldn't think it'll get much lower than this 2,800 level, but you could catch a nice short down to the 2,800. I mean, you're talking $80 then on gold, which, you know, it's 800 ticks for, you know, not bad there. That's definitely tradable. And another key thing is if you're looking at this, see this little gap right there? We still have an open gap too. So it wouldn't be shocking at all if we break this level, we'd come down then, you know, to fill this gap here. I'll look to put my gaps in purple too. So the gap zone would be right there. It'd be 27.96 to 27.78. That would be the open gap. It's still there. So, you know, if we start to get a wee little bit of momentum down, that'd be a logical place for it to stop. You know, we might get a little dip below, and then it'll start to power back up. But I could definitely see it heading down to there, and then you know, then we react to what happens at that point. Let's look at the 120 minutes. So the reason I'm looking at the gold extended chart and then the GCJ is because of that gap, and so that's why I kind of have these separated out a little bit differently. As far as our 120 for tonight, we obviously got our penetration of the all-time high right here at 29.74 that we just spoke about. That'll be my key bull level again for tomorrow. We do have a nice consolidation zone that's built since Thursday the 20th. So we have a couple days of consolidation that have happened here. So there is some momentum. You know, it's been penetrated once, so that'll be our second time through. You know, good chance that we get a little bit of run up here if that gets penetrated once more. So definitely keep an eye on 29.74. I think there's definitely an area of interest there for me. This level here at 29.65, I don't love it. I'm gonna kill it.
You don't love it?
That's just gonna be crap.
Really?
Not gonna do that.
I didn't love
what
that
I do
area
like, we got a nice tail right here. It's choppy, man. It'll get choppy through there. You know, if we got like a little run up here, the only way I would trade that, maybe, I probably didn't do it because I already said I don't love it. But if we pushed up, broke this all-time high, 980-ish, and we start to pull back, that would be an area that you could maybe get a little bounce off of for the next move. So, you know, you could keep it in mind for that, but As far as like level breakouts, not good for what we're looking at for level breakouts. But if you're looking for some kind of like retest, off of a break, there could be some viability to that. But for my purposes, we're going to delete that sucker. On the bear side, we are going to look at first. We got this nice little tail from earlier this morning at 29.45 and a half. Definitely some interest there. Next viable level from there would be down at the 29.37-ish. So you got a little run there. I definitely think there's some profitability, even though, we are fighting the stream a little bit. But I do think there's at least some viability to that trade if we want it. And then I'm going to take this out since we had this low right here. Then if we get the 29.30 break, we could get a drift down in this 29.19 area. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be looking at for gold on the day. We can zoom in a little bit more, see if there's anything else that catches our eye. I don't think so, though. If you wanted to get super aggressive tonight, look at all these bottoms on this 30. If you wanted to get super aggressive and you really wanted to trade tonight, and you like the downside, which I don't, you could short this 29.61. It's not a horrible place, but again, we're sort of in a consolidation. It's a short-term consolidation, but we are in a consolidation essentially for this gold unless we get over top of 29.74. So it's risky. It's definitely risky if you take that. So keep that in mind. It's not for me, but maybe it's for you. What do you think? Any questions on gold?
No, I'm just really looking for the break of the high, all-time high for me when it comes to gold.
That's.
I'm kind of.
I agree, man. I'm with you. Yeah, it's just so risky to go short with it when you're in something like this. I mean, you're just shooting up. So it's a risky play, especially overnight if you're not going to be babysitting it. Now, like if you want to watch it for 2 hours, you might be able to squeak a little profit out of there if you're quick on the trigger. But as far as letting something go and just hoping it hits, I don't think this is really the area to do it. I think you got better. I think oil is probably a better thing overnight than this is going to be, honestly. So, do we want to let's look at some market profile levels and see if we got anything interesting. Maybe we're going to look at market profile levels if I can get this chart up.
I guess while you're thinking, maybe we can just kind of talk through just the market as a whole and just the upside of trading or learning this skill, especially in today where so much is unknown for people. So, what made you, ultimately say, I want to be a day trader, for the people that's considering, that's watching, can you give a little insight? Because because if you want me to go first, I can lead into it, as well. And then you can say how you got into it.
Sure. I mean, honestly, I started trading like a singular penny stock. Like that's how this whole journey started for me. And it was something called NTech. And it was like supposed to be like this Netflix knockoff. It was total crap. It was a total pump and dump scam, man. And so I invested only like $1,000 into it, which I mean is a substantial amount of money for me at that time. But it went down like 30% in a day. So my $300, looking back now, I'm like, oh, $300, not horrible, but 30% in one day. The average person probably would have been like, man, this trading thing isn't for me. But in my sick mind, I'm like, holy shit, if something can drop 30% in a day, it can go up 30% in a day. So that piqued my interest on the whole thing. And then it was just like a massive pour of information. Like I was just eating up everything that I could possibly eat up trading wise. I mean, I was watching everything on YouTube. I was watching podcasts everywhere, reading books. I've probably read 90 trading books. I'm not even exaggerating. Like I just love this shit. Like I love trading. I love the markets. I just fell in love with it after that. And it was all from a huge loss, which is like funny to think back on, but that's like what set me off on the journey, man. and I wanted that freedom to kind of be able to do my own thing a little bit. So that got me going and kept me driving. I'm not going to act like it's like been all rainbows and sunshine, the whole time, because it definitely has not. There's been a lot of ups and downs with it. The markets are always changing. For over 8 years, I've seen, super volatile markets. I've seen super slow markets. And no day is ever exactly the same, and there's no predictability, to how each day is going to go. The only thing that you can predict is your actions of what you do each day. And sticking to that plan, having a plan. Number one, you must have a plan. You must know where you want to get in and out. Those are the keys to survival. If you don't have a plan, I promise you're going to hold that loser too long. It's going to wipe you out. It's going to be super painful. And then you're going to be cursing our names, for getting you into this. So, do not go into trading without a plan. Make sure that you know what you want to do, with each and every trade. That's probably my biggest advice for anybody. It's not anything, anything that's super unique. I mean, if you're reading any trading books or watching anything, they're telling you that same thing, but it's so true. Like, it's so true. You got to have that. So that's sort of my story of how I got in there. And here I am, 8 years later, still pumping out daily, doing the market daily and checking this stuff out. And I still love it. And I'm still passionate about it. And, I hope to continue to do this forever. Honestly, I don't think I'll ever retire, man. I just love markets. It's almost like it's sort of like a strategy game almost, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're like picking up all these different, like, techniques. Like, I've gone through, a number of different strategies that I've tried. I test them out. You can ask Adrian, like, I'm always testing things. Like, I might not actually end up ever trading it. But I'm always doing tests. Like, I'm like, okay, maybe this will do something, or maybe this will do something. And like, I dig that stuff. Like, I like to go through and do the back testing. Like, I'm just kind of a dork like that. So, it's worked out for me, man. So I'm happy that I found this. I'm happy I had this crazy boss that like suggested that NTech stock to me. She's the one that actually got me into this journey, and she has no clue about it, but hey.
That's funny. I mean, for me, it's definitely been totally different. I have taken so many L's, and I probably have really turned the corner in like the last year and a half. But my start was because of you. I remember you telling me about trading, and you would always be telling me, and in my mind, I was like, yeah, cool. I was more of a long-term trader, and when you started telling me about day trading, it was like, okay. And then, not to put your business out there, but then when you was telling me how much you was making, I was like, whoa, skirt, time out. Hold on, wait a minute.
This might be worth looking at.
Right. Bro, you should have led with that part. You didn't lead with that. You just told me that I should do it. So once you start telling me, how much you make, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sold. Like, what? Like, trade 3-4 hours a day and can make that type of money? I'm in. I got to figure this game out. So whatever I need to do. And so you started suggesting books, and I started reading. I'm pretty sure I got on your nerves sometimes because I probably hit you up way more than you felt like, hearing from me. But I was into it at that point. And I'm probably, you probably still be like, dang, Adrian always hitting me up about the market. Well, at least he's committed. Like,
That's it, man. I'm always here to help. So, you've been trying to get me to do this podcasting thing for, gosh, how long? 2-3 years at least. So you finally got me on here.
now we got it. I wanted to do this too because, you helped me. And I know that if you could help me, there's other people that we can definitely help in this space and, help them reach their goals, of financial freedom, working for themselves. It's tough out here now. I mean, we know what's going on right now.
Absolutely.
As far as, especially, let's be honest, like the last, 4 or 5 years, because you had the tech layoffs, 2 years ago. Every industry had, in the last couple of years has been doing massive layoffs.
You could even go back to COVID. I mean, COVID, we had massive layoffs at that time.
Massive layoffs.
Nobody's job is super secure. Like, if you're working in the corporate world, like, you could be fired at any time. Like, that's something that's always in the back of your mind. Like, this is a skill that you'll have that nobody can ever take away from you once you learn it. So, like, and you can always make money then that way. I mean, you have a way to make money, and it's that there's
right.
no
So
better
being able
feeling
to
than that, God honest truth, like to know that
write
you
your
have
own way,
something in your
man.
back pocket, that you can do successfully.
Always a great thing, right? Always a great thing. So, hopefully you
Yep.
guys enjoy this, and you come, tune in, learn, be able to ask questions as we learn our way around this thing and get better and better each time we do it.
Yeah, right.
But
I'm just like playing with all the tools right now. Like, okay, this
right.
is kind of cool.
We're just going by day to day what we would do as far as with the trading and how we looking at charts. So,
Yep.
of course, if anybody has questions, they can always leave a comment, let us know, and we're here to help. But we'll be doing this, and we'll be talking about the market. But yeah, so if people want to ask us questions, definitely leave a comment, things that you want us to answer while we're looking at the market, or maybe give some perspective that we may, can help you with. We're here for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's say market profile for another. We're getting pretty lengthy into this one. So we'll save some market profile stuff maybe for tomorrow. I'll go over some things that I'm looking for. So that I mean, that could be a 2-week topic on its own, really, if I really wanted it to be. So
and that's what we could do. Because sometimes we could probably do it midday during the lunchtime, and then we could definitely talk about our strategy, because that's something we didn't really of course, talk about. But yeah, maybe on the next one, we could talk about market profiling and how we see the market and how we even come up with these levels that we just pulled out. So yeah.
Yep.
Good to go.
All right.
All right, man.
All right, buddy. That was good first run here. So we'll
good first run. Enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. Got a couple.
We'll get back at it tomorrow. All right, buddy. Have a good one.